Okay, welcome everyone. I will now call to order our regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you. All right, now call to order the regular meeting of the Palm Desert City Council, the successor agency to the Palm Desert Redevelopment Agency, the Palm Desert Housing Authority, and the Palm Desert Board of Library Trustees for Thursday, August 20th, 2026. May we please have roll call?
Councilmember Harnik.
Here.
Councilmember Moreno.
Present.
1 second, sorry. Councilmember Nastandi.
Here via Zoom.
And can I ask the nature of the need to participate via Zoom?
Family care.
Thank you. And is there anyone over the age of 18 present in the meeting room with you?
No, there is not.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Here.
And Mayor Truby.
Here.
Motion passes. Sorry. All councils present.
All right, we got our first vote out of the way. Terrific. I believe we need an announcement about tonight's public hearings from our city clerk.
Mr. Mayor, there's nothing unique about tonight's public hearings.
Okay, terrific, thank you. And we will now move to the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilmember Moreno.
Please stand if you are able.
We'll now ask for words of inspiration from Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Many people have heard the saying, "Don't fly too close to the sun," when warning against excessive ambition. And some people even know that that comes from the story of Icarus. But I think even fewer know the full story of what that story warned against. Icarus had a father who was a renowned inventor, and he was arrested on the island of Crete. And his father devised a clever way to escape the island. He built for them wings of feathers and wax and decided that they were going to fly off the island. Before they departed, the father warned the son, "Do not fly too close to the sun, lest the sun melt the wax and the wings fall apart." But he also said, "Do not fly too close to the water, lest the wings get bogged down with water and you sink." And off they went. And Icarus experienced the exhilaration of flying, flew too close to the sun. The wings fell apart and he drowned. The moral of the story is that we should be humble but not arrogant. We need to be confident but not overconfident. And we need to aim true and do what is right and what is good. And may we do that today.
All right, thank you very much. I want to ask for a report of closed session from our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. There's no reportable action from this afternoon's closed session.
Terrific. And we will now do our item 9, awards, presentations, and appointments. We have item 9A, proclamation and presentation for Find Regional Food Bank Hunger Action Month. And we'll do okay, let's see. Is that sucker on? Well, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Welcome. I'm going to read the proclamation, and then, of course, we'll do the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. It's on. Very good. Thank you. Whereas Find Regional Food Bank joins Feeding America and nearly 200 food banks nationwide in observing Hunger Action Month each September, raising awareness and inspiring individuals, businesses, organizations, and elected leaders to take action to end hunger in our communities. And whereas Find Regional Food Bank serves more than 122,000 neighbors each month across eastern Riverside, Imperial, and southern San Bernardino counties through a network of more than 130 community distribution sites. Wow. Providing nutritious food to children, families, seniors, veterans, and individuals experiencing hardship. And whereas Find distributes more than 20 million pounds of food annually including approximately 8 million pounds of fresh produce, improving health outcomes, reducing food waste, and strengthening the well-being of our communities. And whereas hunger continues to affect more than 48 million Americans, including 1 in 5 children, while rising food and housing costs and reductions in nutrition assistance have increased the need for emergency food support throughout our region. And whereas the City of Palm Desert recognizes that access to nutritious food is essential to the health and well-being of our community and proudly supports the efforts of Find Regional Food Bank to provide hope and assistance to those facing food insecurity. And whereas the City of Palm Desert joins communities across the nation in recognizing Hunger Action Month and encourages residents, businesses, schools, faith communities, and civic organizations to volunteer, donate, advocate, and raise awareness in support of ending hunger. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Evan Truby, Mayor of the City of Palm Desert, California, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of September as Hunger Action Month and encourage all residents to support Find Regional Food Bank through volunteerism, advocacy, food and financial donations, and community engagement to help create a healthier, hunger-free Coachella Valley and surrounding communities. Those are impressive numbers.
Thank you so much.
Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Oh, yeah, of course, sorry. Terrific. All right, take it away.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, city staff, and community members. Thank you so much for honoring us and advocating for Hunger Action Month for the month of September. I wanted to highlight not only the numbers that we have in partnership with the City of Palm Desert, but the amazing partnership that we have to serve Palm Desert residents who are food insecure, and the impact that it makes on city residents, not only with food assistance and access to fresh, nutritious food, but also the other programs that provide resources to move families towards sustainability. So our State of Hunger report for the City of Palm Desert is as follows. We have reported that 12.3% of Palm Desert residents are food insecure. We're able to provide access and resources to these residents in a number of various ways, not only through our own community mobile markets. We have 5 community mobile markets that are specifically here in the City of Palm Desert. Through these mobile markets, we're able to serve 16,376 people. We also have a system that records access throughout our whole entire network. This system has recorded 20,920 feeding engagements for the City of Palm Desert residents. We have also partnered with 10 agency partners in the City of Palm Desert, and through this network, we've been able to serve or report 121,000 engagements to help support food access in the area. We have programs that serve homebound individuals that are not able to make it to traditional distributions. 16 of those residents who access this program, our homebound delivery program, are in the City of Palm Desert. And we have 288 amazing volunteers that are residents here in the City of Palm Desert. As far as annual distribution numbers, we distribute 1.7 million pounds of food assistance here in the city. And we do that in various different models as well. And 374,152 pounds is in the form of fresh produce. When I'm talking about our Ending Hunger programs and how we're able to support community residents with sustainability and resources, we also have a team of outreach individuals that go on to community and help with CalFresh assistance, Medi-Cal assistance, rental assistance, utility, and housing. Through this outreach assistance, we've been able to serve 215 residents with resources to these benefits. And then for our youth, we have one student who participates on our Find Youth Advisory Council and advocates for food insecurity across the desert. And now we are implementing a program that supports students get access to educational attainment by providing stipends. And we have 4 students that are part of that program from the city of Palm Desert. One of our most recent programs that has one of the biggest impacts is our SB 1383 partnership, where we're able to rescue edible food from local retailers and establishments in the city of Palm Desert, both restaurants and retail. This year, we rescued 2 million pounds of food in the city of Palm Desert, and we're able to repurpose that food and send it out and distribute it into the Coachella Valley. So thank you so much for your partnership. We are so grateful for the partnership that we have with the city and how we're able to serve the residents. And I encourage all of you to participate in this coming month's Hunger Action Month. Wear orange, volunteer at the food bank, and advocate for those who are food insecure. Thank you so much.
I have a quick question.
Yes, questions?
I don't think you introduced yourself and told us your role.
Oh,
I mean, everybody here wants to know.
I
Yeah.
was so excited about everything else. My name is Lorena Maruquin. I'm the Chief Community Impact Officer for Fine Regional Food Bank.
Terrific, thank you.
Thank
Those
you
are
so much.
impressive numbers, and I do have one question.
Oh, yeah.
You rescue, I love that word, rescuing food.
Yes.
2 million pounds, and you distribute about 1 point. Sounds like Palm Desert's actually contributing more
Yes,
than we're taking in.
yes.
Terrific. That's good.
Yes, you guys are
any-
doing an amazing job. We partner with several cities. Out of all the cities that we rescue with, you guys are the largest, 4 times bigger than any other city.
I like it, I like it, all right.
Off the record.
Terrific, thank you. Any questions? All good? Okay. Oh,
I appreciate that you're such a good partner to be able to successfully achieve what SB 1383 was intended to do. Because there's a lot of people with good intentions to do it, but you have the infrastructure, you have the volunteers, and you have the heart. You don't turn people away, you make it. I think a lot of people that either have experienced food insecurity, it can be embarrassing to ask for help. And you don't have stigma, you don't have a complicated process. You see a human in need of food, and couldn't be happier to have you as a partner.
Absolutely. Thank you.
thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, we move on to item 10, city manager comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll invite up Lieutenant Porras for a quick update.
Good afternoon. It's great to see everybody again. Tomorrow, August 21st, is National Fentanyl Prevention Awareness Day, and to bring awareness to the dangers of fentanyl in our community. From a law enforcement perspective, fentanyl has changed the way we respond to calls. For years now, we've been carrying naloxone, commonly known as Narcan, because when an opioid overdose occurs, every second matters. Talking to our fire chief, he wanted me to remind you that please, if you suspect an overdose, call 911 immediately. Don't delay any kind of course of action. Make sure every second counts. Our deputies also work closely with our local fire department and other first responders. The partnership is critical. When a deputy arrives, first on scene, or fire personnel provide medical care, we work together with the same goal, protecting lives and getting people the help they need. On top of this, we also started carrying defibrillators in all our vehicles. That was a few years ago. Every deputy has what's it called? I'm sorry, AED. Correct. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But along with this, what I learned also is AB 2429. This in the next education year, curriculum of fentanyl awareness is going to be part of education. So our kids are going to start learning more about the dangers of fentanyl and what it can do. For those who would like to learn more information about what's happening here locally in our own community, the public can access Riverside County Overdose Data Action Board dashboard. Once again, Riverside County Overdose Data Action Dashboard, which provides local information about overdoses and helps us better understand the impact on our community. There you can learn about the responses from hospitals, people come into the hospitals, EMS, and other things that's important for our community to know. So once again, tomorrow, just please make sure you have a conversation with a family or friend to get this awareness out. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'll invite up Casey Arndt for a quick update on Monterey Improvement Project.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Casey Arndt, Director of Capital Projects. Just wanted to Give you a quick update on one of our projects. The Monterey Avenue Street Rehabilitation Project has begun. This project is going to upgrade pedestrian curb ramps to ADA compliance, to meet ADA compliance, as well as repair curb gutter and sidewalk, make improvements to median islands, and construct a new asphalt concrete surface. The first phase of the project will focus on the repairs to the driveways and curb ramps. Contractor will minimize these disruptions to businesses by staggering the work areas to ensure constant access into the commercial centers. We would like to thank Vanessa Mayer in the Economic Development Department for going door to door to each business along the project limits to let them know about the coming project and answering any questions. Other public notifications for the project include the installation of changeable message boards out on Monterey Avenue and other arterials, as well as traffic alerts to local news outlets, social media blasts, and a page on Engage Palm Desert. The most disruptive work of the project will be done overnight. The contractor will grind the existing pavement down to remove the existing asphalt there and repair cracked street surface. Then they will repair any subsurface failures and repave the street with new asphalt concrete. Project is scheduled to complete sometime around mid-October. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions from my colleagues?
When did you say? I think it trailed off. When is the projected completion date?
Mid-October. Yep.
That's pretty fast.
Yes, it's quick.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Appreciate it. Anything else?
Nothing additional.
Very good. Okay, on to item 11. We'll begin with Mayor, council member reports and requests for action. I will start with council member Nastandi, although she just disappeared.
No, thank you, Mayor. No reports this evening. Thank you.
Council member Moreno, unless you're still.
Let's see, I've got a few items. Attended the Jocelyn Board of Directors meeting. The new CEO was very kind and getting up to speed. I was surprised to see that the budget shortfall continues, but it does make sense when they said how much they had to spend on the new director search, and that unfortunately a lot of nonprofits are taking a hit with less people donating. So if you can donate your time and donate your money, Jocelyn is in need. The Palm Desert Chamber, the Lunch and Learn, the AI was very informative. One of the takeaways is the way it was phrased, that it's a workforce multiplier, and learned that it's also about how you set the parameters and how you ask it to do things for you, such as this expert-rated 2 entities gave them a letter grade, but the percentage that would correlate to those actual letter grades was incorrect. So again, I think that AI is evolving. I attended the Parks and Rec Committee as the alternate to our mayor and had a lot of fun with it. That was fun. And hearing the proposal from one of our members of the community, one of the commissioners, excuse me, about discussing carbon offset and purchasing those credits and how we don't qualify, because even though we have a lot of trees, more than half of them are palm trees. And they're not really trees, they're fancy grass. So at least letting people know we are thinking long-term, but that one isn't a good fit. And discussion about the policies for the skate park, and what we've changed is actually not limiting, where last year there were about 75 users, they have noted over 700. So that's substantial. And I attended the NALEO conference, and some of the key takeaways were more reflective questions than data. It was very engaging to ask everyone to define what does affordability look like in your community. And as we look ahead, I appreciate that the vision of our city manager is looking at a micro and macro level. And I think that that's a conversation that we should have with our residents. What does it look like? Tying in the Hunger Awareness Month, I was speaking to a friend yesterday who used to live in Palm Desert and moved to another city for easier or reduced cost of living. And she said, I have a newer home, I'm happy, but I can't afford bread. And that's the reality that a lot of folks, whether, some of us have experienced food insecurity and others may only know somebody that has experienced. People from other states, I was shocked to hear that I think there's 8 states that because they are not going to get the federal funding, they're going to eliminate the SNAP program. And that's the Supplemental Nutrition assistance program. Yeah, I think it is assistance. And that's where so many families were filling the gaps. And it's not just low-income families that filled the gaps. And that's why I said I'm very happy that we have Find as a partner. And it was also an opportunity to see the energy and the impact of what we can do to activate the and leverage what's going on with the Olympics and what we've seen in LA. It was great to see what our staff did at the mall to bring community together around sports. So that is it for me.
Very good, thank you. Councilmember Harnick.
So we're back from our, in theory, summer hiatus. I have a few things that we've been working on this summer. I'll start with the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. As there's more and more building going on, there's also more and more need for infrastructure. So there are some fees associated with all development, TUMF it's called, and we're looking at ways that we may have to, ours is considerably less than Riverside County on the other side of the hill. Considerably less by ours is like $2,000 and $3,000 for a single family unit, and on the other side of the hill it's $17,000. These are funds that are used to make sure we have the roads, we have curbs, we have all the type of infrastructure needed to support businesses and homes. So we are looking at that. We've had several meetings to work that out. It will be going to our business, our development, Desert Valley Builders Association for their input, and then of course wind up at the executive committee at CVAG. But it's something we need to look at, and we've kind of delayed it just because no one likes to increase any fee, but nonetheless, everyone likes good streets. So we've got to find that balance, and we're working hard to do that. The other thing, I've been working with the Southern California Association of Governments on some bills in Sacramento, and we're going to see in the next couple days, or maybe week or so, how these all work out. But there is a bill called SB 375, which is a bill that is environmentally focused, and it is no longer relevant to today. All we're trying to do, and we're working with the original author, we're trying to cause it to be relevant to today's environment. It is so restrictive, it hurts us in our building, it hurts us in so many projects, and if we can create a more relevant bill that'll help us, that's what we're working to do. We've made great strides, we'll see where we get with it. The other thing I wanted to mention is with the Riverside County Transportation Commission, you're going to hear about Measure A. And Measure A is in place now and has been around for decades. And it's just a half-cent sales tax you currently pay. All we are looking to do is to extend it. Riverside was one of the first self-help counties. We generate revenue to fix our streets. Our focus is, this time it's local streets and roads, highways and regional corridors, and public transportation. It is not an additional tax. It is just extending it that is currently in place. We need these funds. We don't always get what we want from the states or from the federal government, and every time we have a new administration, whether it's at Sacramento or Washington, D.C., we all get whiplash trying to keep up with what they're trying to do, because they all take different approaches. That Measure A helps us continue having safe streets and good bridges and those sorts of things. So Measure A, find out about it. There's websites. It's important to know more about it. Also, yesterday, I had the great pleasure of going over to Palm Desert Charter Middle School. It was their first day of school. And it was great to see all these young students, and they're just, of course, some of them were too cool to be happy. They had to hide their smiles, but they all had smiles on their faces. And it was great to see. But please allow this to serve as a reminder. Our students, all ages, are back out on our streets, so please drive with caution and protect them. And that's what I have.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Last month, I went to the JPIA, our insurance pool directors meeting, and learned about some of the issues affecting our insurance pool. We have a great insurance pool with a lot of members and a staff that does a good job, but they, like everyone else, is experiencing the pressure of increased costs. Every time an accident happens, there's the cost of cars and repairing them and property is all up. So they're doing their best, and one of the things they're targeting is tort reform. And we're part of the effort to lobby for some legislation. So we know that the cities and government agencies are often on the hook for the full burden of some sort of judgment, even though that government agency might only be a very small responsibility. But the one thing I did learn that I had no idea about is that there have been investment funds that have gotten into the game of bankrolling claims against cities, where before they would, claimants would just settle, but now with infinite pockets, they're pressing for bigger and bigger judgment and seeing it all the way through, which is increasing the costs of defending and then the settlements. So it's a big deal, and I'm glad that we've joined our colleagues in pushing for tort reform. So that's my update.
Okay, very good. And I know we had a little bit of a break, about 6 weeks, I believe. And even though we didn't do council meetings, obviously you can see everybody was busy in our other commitments. And a couple of things that stuck out during my interim period here was, of course, Finance Committee. We have that on a quarterly basis, our Finance Committee meeting, and had the good news delivered that we had, turns out, nearly $10 million surplus. So kudos to the Finance Director and the team there. That was welcome news for the city. And also Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy. And we discussed the addition of more shade structures, I think 6 more shade structures along the CV link, and I can tell you that's good news. They have money available to do it. They're going to proceed with that. And I can tell you all the way out to Airport Boulevard, where the terminus is currently. The CV link is popular, it's busy, so I'm glad to see the investment in infrastructure there. So look forward to that coming up, and I hope you all get a chance to go out and use it. It's a lot of fun. So, and that is all I have. So we will move on to non-agenda public comments. This time has been set aside for the public to address the City Council on issues that are not on the agenda for up to 3 minutes, because the Brown Act does not allow the City Council to act on items not listed on the agenda. Council members may briefly respond or refer the matter to staff for report and recommendation at a future meeting. And City Clerk, got some housekeeping?
For those on Zoom, if you want to participate in public comment, please click the raise hand button on your computer or smartphone. And if you're joining in by calling on your phone, please dial *9 to raise your hand, and when called upon, press *6 to unmute yourself.
All right, very good. I will now open the floor to non-agenda public comments. We do have some blue speaker cards, so in no particular order, I will call you up as I have them in my hand. We have to start simply Chloe. I don't have a last name here.
Hello, everyone. I'm here today with a safety concern about cars and parking around children, which I love that you brought up, drive safe around children. As far as I'm aware, I'm a parent of the daycare BDLC, and as far as I'm concerned, we'll be losing access to some of our parking stalls and sharing it with a new school entering very close in the vicinity. And I'm concerned about having unnecessarily busier car traffic around Littles during drop-off and pickups, which can already be very hectic. Spots can be limited. We've got multiple kids, bags, water bottles, lots of things. The demographic of BDLC is mostly kids under 5, which is an age group that's already really challenging to keep safe in a parking lot. So that concerns me, having 2 little kids and lots of things, and now sharing spaces with another school, when in my opinion there is ample parking, maybe on a different side of a parking lot. So I hope that these safety concerns around really little children and daycare centers and pickup and drop-offs can be concerned with the addition of the new school, which I believe is part of St. Margaret's Church.
For the purpose of clarification, BDLC, Bermuda Dunes Learning
Yes,
Center?
I'm so sorry,
Okay,
yes, which
okay.
is the best daycare ever. But the parking lot is very limited already. I mean, it's a very small strip of cars, and having like a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, some who dart and are learning their independence, and then adding on an entire another school to park in the same spaces is extremely concerning, and I think the challenges around pickup and drop-off are going to be very clear right away.
So, and just again, I don't want to get too far down, but are you talking about the physical location is in Bermuda Dunes?
No, that's the name of the school. This is their second school in Palm Desert, and it's next to St. Margaret's Church.
Very good, okay.
And yeah, I guess they're adding a new school, and we're going to have shared parking. There's ample parking with shade for the new school. So I don't see why we'd take away from mothers with babies.
I don't know. We'll see if staff can maybe follow up on any of these concerns.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Chloe.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Emily. And sorry, you're good by the first name as well because you're well known around here.
But I'm still going to introduce myself. Good afternoon. I'm Emily Vogt. I am the current secretary of the Palm Desert Area Chamber Board, Palm Desert Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. See, I can get it out, and you're the nervous one. See, I'm here tonight with our newly elected board president, Kathy McGoldrick, and you know Alyssa Williams, our president and chair, or CEO. We want to take a moment to thank you guys for the City Council and the City of Palm Desert for your continued partnership and support of the Chamber.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm honored to serve as your new president for the board. And I just wanted to really, especially, we're grateful for the funding and sponsorship that you provided us and recently approved. We also really appreciate the partnership between the city and the chamber because it helps us continue to provide events and programs for our business community and our residents. And we just truly appreciate your confidence in the work that we're doing. So we have a lot of events coming up, City of Palm Desert to the State of the City, and we have the 62nd Annual Palm Desert Golf Cart Parade, which is well underway. And then we have Peace Officers and Safety Awards in December. So thank you. I look forward to serving with you the next year.
And those are just our events this year. So next year there's even more, but our team is already hard at work on all of those events and many others, and we're excited about what's ahead. These are some of the Chamber's largest community events of the year, and we couldn't do it without strong partners like you guys. So thank you to the city, and on behalf of our board of directors, our staff, and our chamber members, we thank you for your continued support and partnership, and we're looking forward to an amazing year together.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work and welcome. Awesome. Okay, next do I have a Christina Torres.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay. My name is Christina. I'm here today as a parent on behalf of the families of Bermuda Dunes Learning Center. BDLC is more than just a child care center. It's a lifeline for working families, single parents, and low-income families in our community. I'm here because I'm concerned about the proposed parking changes. This is a safety issue for our children and our families. Our parents, every morning, unload infants, toddlers, and preschoolers carrying bags, bedrolls, water bottles, and whatever else their child may need. Many of these little ones are still learning to walk and need someone to hold their hand. Their current walk is already challenging, and moving parking to the opposite side of the school would make it significantly longer and an uphill walk, which will be challenging for the children during the busiest time of the day. I also ask that you consider the current layout of the property. The parking we currently use is an easement that was a part of a contract with the land when the land was divided. The church already has a roundabout with direct access to its entrance, allowing parents to drop off children close to the building. Families at Bermuda Dunes Learning Center don't have that option. We must park, unload our children, and walk them safely to the classrooms. That's why keeping nearby parking is so important for the youngest children and the families caring for them. I also want to recognize the City of Palm Desert for helping make this learning center possible because it saw the value it brings to this community. I hope that you will continue to support that mission by preserving safe access for the families who rely on it every day. I'm not here to oppose the new school. I simply ask that you consider the decision, you prioritize the safety of the youngest children, and work towards a solution that serves both schools without placing a greater burden on the family with infants.
Thank you so much. Next, we have a Gail Clark.
Hello. I'm not going to sing. Hi. And I am the Executive Director of the Bermuda Dunes Learning Center. I want to thank the City of Palm Desert. 5 years ago, the city helped us open our Palm Desert location, and we are very grateful for the partnership. Since then, we have the privilege of serving many children and families in this community. Jan Harnett came and did the ribbon cutting the day we opened. We are completely full. We are currently licensed for 25 infants, 60 toddlers and preschool children, and we take care of after-school children coming from 2 of the elementary schools in Palm Desert. We just were notified, I was just notified 5 weeks ago by the church that they're going to rent out their facility and have a private elementary school. And they are proposing to use the same parking lot on this easement that was set up for our parcel's parcel 2 for the parking. There is ample parking on the north side of the property, and that's what we are asking that the new school please use. Please do not take our parking from us. It's going to create a safety hazard. We got a contract with the state of California. We had a lot of this happen in the 5 years. 95% of the children that are attending are getting free subsidized childcare. We are providing meals for the children, great resources. We have a great staff. Today, I don't know, we came to work, there's 18 cones up that have a name of a new school, and they're blocking off our parking that I believe is our parking. So we have a great relationship with St. Margaret's Church. We'd like to keep it that way, but we are asking for some assistance from the city if they can help us with this. There was in the conditional use permit that was originally written when the school on the church parcel, they were going to expand and do middle school, which I believe they did. They had a drop-off set up in front of the chapel. That would be a great place that this new school could use. Right now, they're proposing to drop the kids off in the back, drive through the parking that is currently used for the children, for the families of Bermuda Dunes Learning Center. We have 160 children, I think I stated that. So most of the parking where it gets busy, the busiest, is between 4 o'clock and 5:30. This is also going to be busy for this private elementary school that's proposing to open up because I'm assuming most of their families are working families and they're going to be coming at the same time. We suggested that they please think about using the parking that's on the north. It's not being used, and keep the parking separate. We are using all the parking spaces right now. They suggested, well, we could, if we don't have enough parking, we can park on the other end, and that's going to be a safety concern. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got the 3 minutes, and we got the message loud and clear, and we'll have staff follow up in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we have a Mr. Jay Jarvis.
I have a couple of suggestions to provide the city. Behind the Macy's department store, there's a huge parking lot with a vacant building. It's been vacant since I've been here over 10 years. It occurs to me that to make it a great location for a putt-putt entertainment type place. I was involved with putt-putt many years ago, went to college with a guy who ran putt-putt. So I just think it's a great place to consider. It would give us a good use for the property, provide revenue for the city, jobs, and draw a lot of attention to our current shopping center, which needs more participation. So that's one idea. The other one concerns Portola Palms HOA, which is at 43155 Portola Avenue. The city owns 2 lots which have been vacant. I was city manager there some years ago, And I asked the city why they do something with it. We would like to stay involved. Well, you can stay involved because it's part of the community. It's one of the few HOAs that allows young children. It's right across from an elementary school. So it's a perfect location for families. If you put the lot out and sell it, somebody can put a home on it and have a family there. There are two you have that are vacant. Just a suggestion to you. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. I don't see any more blue speaker cards. Are there any online?
No online comments.
Okay, very good. Thank you. On to item 13. We have the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one motion. The public may comment on any item on the consent calendar for up to 3 minutes. I have no speaker cards for consent. Any online? Okay. Very good. And do any council members wish to pull an item from the consent calendar for separate discussion? No?
I do.
Okay.
I have a few, mostly for quick comments. A, C, H, L, N, and P.
Perfect. Well, I guess you can just make comments now if you like.
Should we move the balance or go with the comments?
If you only have comments, you can.
No, I do have comments and questions, or if I can give the comments first then. Comment on item A, the minutes. I wanted to follow up. One of the public comments was from Mr. Dean Gattens regarding Hoveley. I spoke with our city manager. I do drive that corridor. It is a very valid concern, and wanted to assure that we are discussing it in terms of its place in the active transportation plan. Item C, the transparency report. It's very easy to read and able to demonstrate to our residents exactly how each penny is being spent and the progress towards the project, so they don't say, why is the city taking forever to do this? Well, sometimes it's not just the city. There's so many moving pieces, and that helps us be able to explain to people why it's taking a little bit longer. It's actually H and I, the resignation of 2 committee members. I wanted to give gratitude to say thank you for your impact on the city in terms of architectural review, and we've had the city's first Palm Desert Historical Survey. Comment on section N. I've mentioned it several times on the social media, but I recently saw the reports. I thought it said 1,000 something new followers. No, it was 1,000% increase in use, and how I've had people mention how they can see how the employees are having fun, and it makes it appeal to people that the city is approachable and engaging the content directly to them that says, come and work with us. So those are my comments. So beyond the comments, I would like to pull item L and P.
Good.
I'll move the balance, other than L and P.
I do have to note a recusal from item 13Q, sorry, due to proximity to real estate owned.
I'll second the motion.
Councilmember Harney.
Yes.
Councilmember Moreno.
Yes.
Councilmember Nastandi.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Yes.
Mayor Truby.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 to pass the consent calendar with items L and P removed.
Okay, very good. We'll start with item 13L for discussion, which is a resolution setting the city council regular meeting schedule for calendar year 2027. Take it away.
Thank you. Let me pull up to that section here. I'm concerned with the decision or consideration to not have any meeting in August. And I understand that it's approached as a summer recess, but our businesses don't all go on a recess. There's still things that need to happen. We approve contracts to have things be paid out, and I would hate for any of those, the lifeline of so many businesses, small businesses, they're not all large contracts, anything that we are doing that could impede that. Our staff is still here, they're still working hard, they're still working on their deliverables, and I don't think that it's hurting anybody to keep with the consistency of having one meeting in August. We already, I mean, it even mentions here for the November, the one for Thanksgiving gets rescheduled, and we find a way to make things work that still allows us to support the community and support staff. But I really want to know what's wrong with at least meeting once in August. It's, I mean, to meet from July 8th, I think nothing would happen between like July 8th to September 9th. And that's considerably problematic for me. I mean, we had study sessions today. That would also mean another opportunity for having a study session instead of tacking it on to something in the long run. I would like to present the recommendation to approve the rest of the calendar. I would just like to ensure that we are able to have, at least one meeting in August. I think it says here, let's see, July 22nd, August 12th, and August 26th for summer recess. Am I reading that correctly, to eliminate the August meetings? So that to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I think it's detrimental to the city.
Okay. Councilmember Harnick.
I understand the concern expressed. Would it be prudent to say to support what is in place, and on the bullet that says July 22nd, August 12th, and August 22nd, 26th, to put a caveat there that if there is a meeting needed, we are able to have one? Can we just leave it flexible? If it's needed, we're there.
I think if we were to need a meeting, then that would be something where we could call a special meeting versus letting our residents know, here's where you can plan on coming and presenting your item, your concerns, and not having to wait.
I'll let you answer.
Well, I just have a question. I would actually, what I think the best starting place would be for me to understand why we have chosen what is chosen there.
My understanding is it's a simple consideration of do you want to counsel August 26th? If you could certainly leave it on the books, and if it's not needed, it could be canceled, or you can cancel it now, and if it's needed, hold a special meeting.
What was the reasoning for pulling it in the first place? I mean, I give today's meeting as an example of, we had a 6-week break. It's the 3rd week in August. We still have some meaty issues to discuss. I think we have a substantial agenda. So what was the reasoning for doing away? Basically, and walk me through, is the total number of meetings the same during the course of the year? Have we removed one meeting from the schedule altogether by virtue of eliminating the 3rd week of August?
No. Typically, we have 2 meetings a month. This calendar pretty much reflects the exact same calendar as we had this year, with the exception of whether or not to cancel August 26th.
That's a lot. I actually agree with Councilmember Moreno. I would like to keep the August 26th meeting on the schedule.
Sure.
And if there's not enough business to warrant it, cancel it. In other words, that route versus call an emergency meeting if needed. So,
certainly.
Or special meeting.
And, I kind of wonder if you put it as you slate it as being on the schedule, then you have people expecting it. And then if you cancel it, you may have that issue. So I wonder if there's a way, how might we say if needed, and we will determine by such and such a date if we need it, just to give people a heads up.
If that were the case, I would suggest leaving it on the calendar, and then we can come back prior to that meeting date to see if council wants to cancel it at that point. So we could come back in, say, June or at that July meeting and decide if council wants to cancel that meeting or not.
And I would think, as much as the council may have a say in it, I would think the Palm Desert team knows better if we need that meeting or not. So their voice must be strong in that decision, I believe.
And hearing the concern, we can certainly leave it. And to Anthony's point, when we get to June, July, if there's sufficient work, then we can bring an item there forward. Otherwise, we wouldn't bring an item back at that point and have the August meeting.
I just think it looks like we're telling our community, you know, you can hold off. I know you're important. We say you're important. We say our businesses are important, but you know what? We're going to make sure that we have that time. It's 2 days. Our job is to be here for our residents. There are already times where we're not meeting twice a month. That already is an inconvenience for people that have to wait. If they miss that one day, they have to wait till the following month. I think we are in a dangerous trajectory of having already eliminated so many committees and commissions or adjusting that they now meet more infrequently. To me, this is cutting access to our residents and our business owners to come before us and let us know how we can do our job better. To me, this is going against what our values are and our principles as a city to serve. So I continue with my request that we do not eliminate meetings in August altogether.
All right. Councilmember Standy, do you have anything to add, or?
I defer to the group. I just want I want the community to know that we care about our residents, and I do not want to do anything that limits our communication and ability to communicate with our residents that we serve. And I defer to staff and being a team player as to what we decide to do.
I don't have strong opinions. If we have a meeting, I'll be here. If we don't, I won't. But I want to offer a respectful counter argument to the optics of canceling the meeting. I agree that they are legitimate optics, but also to highlight that part of the argument for continuing to have a meeting when there's a chance that we don't have legitimate business to discuss is we're not meeting for a purpose other than to meet. And that's, you know, I don't necessarily think that's the best use of time and resources for staff, because, you know, we're here and they're here. It's not just us. And if there's nothing significant that could wait, you know, I get it. And they take vacations in the summer too. So I'll be here if we have a meeting. If not, I can argue both sides, but I just want to point out that there is a counter argument to the optics of being here, because we have technology, people can make their opinions known and all that stuff.
How would that be different than saying, you know, we're going to have a meeting, and if it's a quick meeting, then it's a quick meeting and everyone can get on their way, but everyone had a chance to come and say what they wanted to say?
Oh, I'm not arguing that you're wrong. I'm just arguing that even having a quick meeting requires all these folks to coordinate. And if there's not a real legitimate reason, again, I don't have strong opinions. I'm just saying that this is not a simple, easy meeting. It's the same amount of overhead pretty much. They have to be here. So that's the counter argument.
I would advocate keeping it on the calendar with a reminder for ourselves and staff that on July 8th we'll determine whether or not there's enough business to warrant having the meeting. So
I have a question for our finance director and city manager. Do we incur any additional costs on the day that we have a council meeting? Things that aren't budgeted? I mean, I know clearly there's materials that get printed, but those are things that are already budgeted. So I don't see where we can say it's costing resources if that's what we have already allocated in time, money, and expectations.
So I'd say our fixed costs are the same. And so to the previous points, if there's items that warrant action, we can certainly hold the meeting and call a special meeting, but our fixed cost is the same. This would be more of a matter of, are there pressing items that require action in August as we anticipate? If there are, we can evaluate that in July and provide that information to council.
I think that looking at that, I feel that are we telling staff, it's okay, go ahead, you can push it out, have more time to work on it at a time where we could be getting valuable information so that we're not delaying projects. We see things like the library. It took this amount of time for this happened, the contractor, this changed, and every time we aren't meeting to get those updates, we could be delaying projects. Part of what we've learned today, and it's come in different components, is that when we delay things for capital improvement projects, contracts get pushed out further. We're going to see anywhere from a 3 to 4 to 9% change in the cost of materials. Any delay that we are causing is going to cost us more in the long run to not meet, when what it's costing right now to have these meetings is already part of our job. And I say that for myself as a council member and respectfully to all of our employees. This is why you're here. We hear that it's great morale. I don't understand the concept of, I mean, if it's summer vacation, you know, that's why our employees have a good compensation package where you can take the day off. You can take a vacation day. One meeting is not going to hurt us with our duty, our responsibility to all of the residents in the city of Palm Desert.
May I ask, I think the solution that the city clerk and our mayor came up with is a viable solution and works well.
Really, truthfully, it's true of any meeting. If there's not enough business to warrant it, we could always call any meeting. But I would advocate keeping it on the calendar and make it does deserve special consideration, and we'll deal with it July 8th and say, okay, yay or nay. Good. Anybody else want to second my motion?
I'll second that.
All right.
Councilmember Harnick.
Yes.
Councilmember Moreno.
No.
Councilmember Nastandi.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Yes.
Mayor Trubie.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Okay, very good. Now we move on to item 14P, which was again pulled for discussion as well. Was it right?
Yes, item P is regarding the street sweepers.
13P.
Oh,
No, it's my bad. I misnamed it.
yes, the item on the street sweepers. Specifically, my question is, do we have sufficient cushion or buffer? We know that we are going to experience some extreme weather. The way I've been telling folks is, yes, it's El Niño, but this time the Niño has the chancla, and we are at the mercy of weather in this capacity. We've seen what happened with the tropical storm Hillary. We already lost so much of the ground cover. We have the silt we're still dealing with, and this is going to exacerbate that. As an asthmatic, I'm concerned, and I'm not even in an area that's going to be hit as hard as North Palm Desert. So do we have a plan to increase that after the storms? What's our plan, and how are we going to protect people's lungs?
Council Member Moreno, Randy Chavez, Director of Public Works. So currently there are two street sweeping companies. One is provided by CVAG, and this is one that's contracted by the city. And they street our arterials and our neighborhood streets every 2 weeks. In addition, we do have our own street sweeper, which we run weekly. And to mitigate some of the sand issues, we've also been heavily using the palm mulch in some of these heavily affected areas that are impacted by wind. So not only the sweeping, but we're also using other measures to minimize the wind, sand on city surface streets and whatnot.
How frequently did you say the CVAG street sweeper is activated?
Every 2 weeks.
And that goes throughout the city or alternating places, or what does that cover?
That covers all the arterial, major arterial streets. And then we have M&M sweeping, which is this contract here that does all the neighborhood streets.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
As long as you open up the discussion about street sweepers, I know within the last year or two, we've incorporated trackers on them to kind of follow where they're going and how efficient they're working. How is that program?
Yes, so there was a concern that some of the streets weren't getting swept. So we did meet with the various companies, these two companies, and they have GPS trackers. In addition, we do have our street department. They go and inspect after they've worked. We're also working with code compliance, because what we've noticed is cars that don't move when during the street sweep days. Also, there are trees. Some of the HOAs have trees that are blocking some of these routes. So some of the issues we found were not totally the street sweeper's fault, but there were other factors that complicated the issue. But This is a collaborative effort between the different departments, and also with our street department. So we're doing our best we can to be proactive and to ensure that the streets are being swept when they should.
But bottom line, you've noticed better service. We've gotten better service, and you're satisfied with that?
Absolutely.
Terrific. All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions on 13P?
I move to approve.
Second.
And consideration of a strategy to support long-term financial planning and consideration of a strategy to support long-term financial planning needs. So the good news first is for FY 25-26, our revenue estimates were lower than what we are now expecting now that we're almost at the close of the fiscal year. So originally we had planned for $109 million in revenue. We have a few one-time revenues that came through that were unanticipated, in addition to some increases that we were not expecting, but also hit the books this year. And so at the end of 25-26, which we still have not closed, we anticipate about $120.5 million, which is an increase of $10.5 million. Those increases consist of additional Measure G sales tax funds. Again, we've talked about this before. This was our first full year. So the estimates we received from the consultant, it's kind of like hit and miss because their crystal ball wasn't as clear as it is now that we have a full year in. For TOT, that additional $1.9 million we are attributing to Bieber-Cella, and we are very fortunate to have had that addition to Coachella Fest this year. All other revenues, yes.
Justin Bieber-Cella?
The Bieber effect,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I heard it right. Thank you.
Yeah. It actually happened with Beyonce as well, and so we are definitely seeing the increase with Justin Bieber. All other revenues are pretty much status quo. We see about a $61,000 increase. We received the reimbursement from CJPIA, our insurance carrier, of $3 million for Storm Hillary, finally. Our plan check fees increased, which includes development as well as the change in the fee structure. And then we did receive grant funds in the amount of $758,000. So that's where that additional $10 million comes from. So staff would like to strategically use the increase in revenue, and one way is to accelerate repayment of the CalPERS unfunded accrued liability. And then the rest we'd like to allocate to the general fund balance for future use. As we saw earlier, there is a need for at least the library. So this will be the fun part, CalPERS. CalPERS is the city's retirement system, and they administer retirement benefits for many California entities, including employees of local government agencies and other special districts. Through its contract with CalPERS, the city contributes toward pension benefits of our eligible employees, and then CalPERS invests those funds and distributes them to retirees when they're eligible. For the city, CalPERS is both an employee benefit as well as an ongoing financial obligation, and so it is included in our long-term budget planning and in the forecast that we present each year. The unfunded accrued liability is a really long term that we also refer to as the UAL. In simplest terms, it's the city's pension funding gap between the needs and what our total deposit and assets are currently sitting with CalPERS. And so the city for a long time has maintained a 70 to 80% funded ratio as a measure to maintain a positive reserve fund and manage those funds rather than turning them over to CalPERS at 100%. However, GFOA has suggested that best practices are to fund them at 100%. The UAL is a fluctuating number. It's based on their investments, staffing costs, everything that changes year over year. So our 26-27 breakdown is related to numbers that they had 2 years ago. So as we're employed today, it'll be even different in 2 years from now based on today's numbers. The present value of the city's assets is $173 million. Our market value is $127 million. today. And so our unfunded accrued liability is about $46 million, which is the 72% funded ratio. It changes over time, as I mentioned, and CalPERS changed to a 20-year strategy as far as amortizing those amounts. And they also offer a 15 and a 10-year structure for you to see how you can reduce interest cost over time if you were to accelerate payments. This schedule right here is actually a clip from our actuarial where it shows our amortization schedule as it stands currently suggests that over a 20-year period or through 2043 when we pay off the UAL, we would spend a total of $71 million. If we were to accelerate and do a 10-year amortization, and what this requires is discipline from the city, we would accelerate and be able to save at that 10th year about $10 million. And if you recall from the forecast, the 8th, 9th, and 10th years were when we were starting to show operations exceeding our resources. And so this is a way that we can manage those anticipated deficiencies in those years. So prepayment of the UAL and the additional discretionary payment, or what they call the ADP, has to be requested by July 31st of each year. That is why this is coming to you as a ratification. The $1.2 million for 26-27, we did let PERS know that we would be making that payment based on the revenue that came in excess of what we were anticipating. Staff is recommending that we budget the ADP or include it in those conversations during budget time each year for the next 10 years. And as I said, that just requires discipline and the commitment to consider it during budget. The ADP will increase the cost of CalPERS retirement cost over the 10-year duration, but ultimately it will save us about $10 million. That exchange of us accelerating those costs now is not something we can recognize in any other use of those $10 million. And so for 25-26, the excess funds that we discussed earlier, taking the $1.2 million just for this year leaves about $9.4 million left as an increase to the general fund balance. And by accelerating the UAL repayment, the city will create additional funding capacity at a time when financial forecasts are indicating that we will have a need. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
You know, actually, I do have a question, unless, well, yeah, I'll just go. You know, you talk about a $10 million savings, the 61 million versus 71 million, but if you go back to the chart of years 35, right there, it actually looks more like a 24 million if you add up the years that we would have been paying in years 36 through 43.
So there is $24 million during those years, but we have to increase the payment from, so if you look at the top, 2026, our actual payment is 4.9. We're self-selecting to pay 6.1. So that increase of 1.2 this year, if you go all the way down, every year is estimated, and we're actually increasing our payment by $14 million. The difference between those two is the $10 million savings.
Okay. Well, I love the idea of it. I feel like we're given, I might not be here on council in 10 years, but we're given a gift of anywhere from $2 to $3 million a year to future city councils and residents, so I'm all for it. And any other questions? Sorry, I guess we're in the question phase. I beg your pardon, I give comments. Any questions from my colleagues?
If no questions, my comment is, as the expression, a stitch in time saves 9, but in this case, it saves us 10 million, so good job.
Councilmember Nastandy.
Yes, and I'm supportive of the 10-year repayment plan, and it aligns with our need in about 8 to 10 years of having the shortfall. So yes, I think this is a great idea and would support this 10-year repayment plan.
Terrific. Any further discussion, or anybody want to make a motion?
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
And I'll just say quickly, I think this is absolutely the prudent thing to do. You know, we've talked about it, we've wanted to do it, and I'm glad to see it being effectuated. Thank you.
Councilmember Harnik.
Yes.
Councilmember Moreno.
Aye.
Councilmember Nastandi.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Yes.
Mayor Truppi.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, very good. And actually, I was a little out of order on the public comments last on 14A. I apologize. So going on to 14B, award of a task order to Accenture LLP to provide construction management services for the Fire Station 33 and renovation, Station 33 renovation and Fire Station 71 demolition and reconstruction projects. Projects number CFA 00017 and CFA 00019. And we are looking for a staff report.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of City Council. My name is Lucero Leyva. I'm a Senior Project Manager with the Capital Projects Department. I am overseeing the Fire Station 33 and 71 projects. Before you have the request for the approval of the task order to Accenture, but we also have the approval of the use of the Sheriff's Substation as a temporary station. And just as a recap, Fire Station 33 will be the one that would be TI'd or renovated to meet the needs of the fire personnel, and 71 will be demolished and reconstructed. And due to the extensive improvements of both fire stations, fire personnel is unable to continue to operate or live in these fire stations while we are in construction. As such, we have been reviewing several parcels throughout the general area of the current fire stations to go ahead and put temporary housing for these fire stations to limit the response effects that this would have. Obviously, shifting the fire station anywhere other than where they are does directly affect the response times. It can be seconds, it can be minutes, so we were trying to be cautious of that, which is why we were looking at parcels in the general vicinity of these fire stations. Initially, the sheriff's substation was not being reviewed because we were unaware that the lease was ending at the end of this year. However, once it was identified, we have gone ahead and evaluated this location for a temporary use facility. Sorry, let me just click through here. And so that's kind of some of the background that has led us to where we are today. Again, we did go ahead and have evaluations for what was the 2 locations with 10 facilities and what is now being recommended, which is the 1 location next door to City Hall to go ahead and house the fire personnel while we are in construction for about 2 years. So just to recap what we've come up with for the former substation, response time should stay about the same at this location, which is about approximately 4 minutes of response time. We also have a lot of already existing infrastructure that we can use at the Sheriff's Substation. That includes showers, the kitchen, several admin offices, dormitories, bathrooms. Again, a lot of it is already existing in the substation, so we would not have to bring in these temporary facilities to be able to accommodate personnel while they're living there. And then go ahead and any building improvements we would do to the Sheriff's Substation would be permanent to this, our asset, correct? So we would be able to help that essentially helps us with future planning and gives us some flexibility to City Council in the future. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that keeping the substation next door allows us to maintain 2 fire engines and 2 apparatus servicing the area from that location. Oops, sorry. So having now looked at the location, we did go ahead and evaluate what the cost and schedule impacts would be of keeping the temp station next door. These are very preliminary numbers, but we did evaluate to have a general consensus that we would approximately save about $4 to $7 million in not having 2 separate temporary locations, but just having the 1. And then there would be some savings in the timing of setting up these locations, which is anywhere from 6 to 12 months. Again, it just depends on a lot of the utility infrastructure we would have to bring into these temp locations if we did not use the sheriff's substation. As far as noise mitigation, there's already a lot of things that CAL FIRE does to go ahead and try to limit the impacts to its neighbors. And then one of those things is to try to limit the siren use until they're on the street responding actively to a call. And that would be in play here. City staff would be coordinating with neighbors to go ahead and notify them that we are moving the sheriff's, or we would be moving fire station to the sheriff's substation. Sorry, that's a mouthful. And then go ahead and make sure that everybody's aware of that move and what that would mean. And CAL FIRE is on board with that as well. And so before you is also the breakdown of what the task is for the construction management services that are currently being recommended to be approved. Task 1 is the substation coordination, and that includes the setting up of the 10 facilities, doing constructability reviews, QCing some of the items we're getting back from contractors, make sure we're getting the best value for our money. But that, again, that also applies to Task 2 and Task 3. So you have the number before you. And again, we have the recommendation for the approval of both the use of the former, what will be the former sheriff's substation and the essential LOP task order. Any questions?
Yeah, terrific report. Thank you very much. Any questions from my colleagues?
Question. I know that one of the items that was discussed in the report was that if we had to house our personnel in a separate location, it could mean that our fire engines and personnel could be placed at a different station in a different city, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So this means, and supporting this plan means we won't risk that, and we will keep our
Assets.
Not only just the assets, but the response time in a way that it's life-saving.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions? No? All right, I love it. Again, creative problem solving that also saves the city money is one of my favorite things of all time. So great job. Thank you. And anybody care to make a motion?
I'll move as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Councilmember Hart.
Yes.
Councilmember Moreno.
Aye.
Councilmember Nastandi.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Yes.
Mayor Truppi.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, very good. We are on to public hearings. The public may comment on individual public hearing items within the 3-minute time limit. The applicant and appellant will be provided up to 10 minutes to make their presentations. Following public testimony, the appellant and applicant will be given an opportunity to offer rebuttal comments for up to 3 additional minutes. We'll start with item 15A, approve a hillside development plan for a new one-story, 7,600 square foot, single-family residence at 47780 Calle de los Campesinos. Staff report, Mr. Flores.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, Carlos Flores, Development Services, here to present on the proposed single-family home in front of you today in our hillside. So here's the project information in front of you, as well as the site plan of what is being proposed. So this is a request by Michael Haynes, the applicant and owner, on a property of 2.8 acres in our hillside residential. They are proposing a new single-family home, a 7,600 single-family home. This project went in front of our Architectural Review Commission for design review and received approval, and went in front of our Planning Commission in July, where they recommended that the City Council approve of the project. This is a location of where it's located. This is a like a 3D view, if you will, of the site. You can see the north arrow to orient yourself, and Highway 74. It is off Calle de los Campesinos. It is on the lower end of our hillside area on the lower ridge. You'll see Upper Way West. So the project is being proposed tucked into that area there. So some background, the Planning Commission did consider this project on July 7th. Then they held a public hearing where they recommended approval. They received an oral comment as well as a written comment on the project, and Commission did have discussion and staff questions, as well as applicant questions related to drainage, landscaping, and how the project is accessed. Staff addressed all of the commissioner questions. This included, and I'm going to go into a little more details of the applicable standards later, but staff confirmed that the project was consistent with the applicable standards, including hillside disturbance and visual impacts, and that all of the grading, drainage, and roadway access would remain subject to conditions of approvals, applicable permits, as well as inspections. There's also a comment about smoke trees and smoke tree removal, which appear related to a separate permit, encroachment permit, for utility trenching within our right-of-way. As staff mentioned during the Planning Commission, but wanted to reiterate here, the city does not have a local native plant preservation ordinance, and that is administered by our state. And then we also received a comment about short-term rentals. In this property would be subject to the Hillside Plan Residential Short-Term Rental Ordinance, which only allows for on-site. But although that is a separate matter, what's in front of you today is a proposed single-family residential home. So some background, as you may recall, earlier this year, the City Council approved objective Hillside Plan Residential Standards, which also included a streamlined process. This application in front of you was deemed complete prior to that approval, so therefore staff and the City Council has to consider it from the previously, from the previous process and standards. So everything in front of you is based off of the previous standards and not our current and recent approval, where they are still found to meet all of our requirements. So I'm going to run through, again, some of the project parameters. It is within our Hillside Plan Residential off of Calle de los Campesinos. On the right-hand side, you'll see another aerial. North is up, if you will. This is some existing site conditions. This is off Calle de los Campesinos if you are facing west. These next slides give you different vantage points of where it is located on the lower ridge of our hillsides. Here's a rendering, and a couple of the next slides are renderings of the proposed project. Again, as mentioned, our Architectural Review Commission recommended approval and reviewed it, and staff and the design review process found that the materials as well as design blends into the terrain, and that is also true for the proposed landscaping, where they are proposing drought-tolerant landscaping to landscape, especially along that frontage on Calle de los Campesinos. So the project was reviewed by staff to make sure it meets all of the applicable standards, and did meet it. It did require it to go through this process because it exceeded 4,000 square feet, so it is a 7,600 square foot single-family home. All other standards, including the standards for disturbance, meet the hillside standards of the time. With all of that said, the project, staff finds that how it is designed, where it is located, and based off the conditions of approval, it minimizes the hillside disturbance and that the architecture and materials blend with the terrain. For purposes of CEQA, staff finds that it is eligible for a Class 3 exemption, which includes single-family residences. Public notice, so public notice for this project, not just for the City Council, but also Planning Commission and ARC. They were publicly noticed projects, and for our hillside projects, that means being noticed to properties within 4,000 feet, so it is a larger radius than typical. We received the comments, as I mentioned, for Planning Commission. All of that said, staff is recommending the City Council adopt a resolution to approve the precise plan, which would allow construction of a new 7,600 single-family home and find the project exempt from CEQA. Concludes the presentation. Happy to answer any questions. And the applicant is here as well to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. I'm going to open the public hearing. And I have no speaker cards here. Any online speakers?
No online speakers.
Very good. And then the applicant has 10 minutes to make a presentation if they wish. Okay, very good. Well, no other public comment or speakers, so close it and open up for my my peers if we have any questions or comments.
I just have one question, and it's curiosity. Because maybe I'll make the inflection of my voice go up at the end so it sounds like a question. But I think that there was a lot of real great consideration of the desert that was implemented in the design. But my one question is, the applicant is Haynes and the residence is Sargsian? I probably messed that up, but that's my curiosity.
That might have been the designer's name that you're seeing on the cover.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions from my colleagues? Okay, and we'll open up for council discussion if you have any comments.
Well, it looks like a great project and it's cleared all the review and it's environmentally sound, and I'm ready to support the project, but welcome my colleagues' comments.
I don't know if there are any, and if there are not, we can entertain a motion.
Move as presented.
I'll second.
Councilmember Harnick.
Yes.
Councilmember Moreno.
Aye.
Councilmember Nestandi.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Yes.
Mayor Trubie.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, terrific. On to item 15B, designation of an existing single-family home located at 73411 Becerra Way as a historic landmark pursuant to criteria C and F of Palm Desert Municipal Code sections 29.40.010. So we have a staff report again from Mr. Flores.
Thank you, Honorable Mayors, Mayor of City Council, Carlos Flores, Development Services, here to present on a proposed landmark designation for a single-family home, 73411 Becerra Way. So what you see on your screen right here is the location of the proposed designation. So it is off Becerra Way, just west of Purse Lane and east of Desert Lily Drive, within the southern part of Palm Desert. The request in front of you is to designate this as a historic landmark based off of the architecture as well as its when it was constructed and how it relates to Palm Desert's history. You'll see in front of you here the design and the current home itself. So for purposes of a landmark designation, it only needs to meet one of our criteria to be designated. Staff and applicant both find, and Historic Preservation Commission found that this project is eligible under two criteria. The first one being architecture, the second one being development pattern. For architecture, it is a substantially intact mid-century modern residence, has a lot of the components that you would find for this type of architecture. And for development pattern, we were able to research and find, or the applicant was sorry, that it was built within the 1950s as Palm Desert was transitioning into more of a broader residential community, and this is a good example of a home from that time. You'll see on the right-hand side, as well as within your packet, some of the flyers showing when it was constructed. Roberts Construction Company is an important contractor of the Palm Desert history, and so during this time, the mid-century this design was important as projects as residential continue to develop in Palm Desert. So all that said, our Historic Preservation Committee reviewed this project in June at a public hearing and did recommend that the City Council adopt a resolution that would designate this as a landmark. For purposes of CEQA, it is eligible for an exemption under Class 8. So the recommendation in front of you today is to adopt a resolution which would designate this single-family home as a historic landmark under both the criteria C for architecture as well as F for development. Concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. I will open up the public hearing. I don't have any speaker cards, any online.
No online comments.
Very good, and I invite the applicant up to make a presentation if they like. All right, very good. And again, no speakers, so we will close the public hearing. And any questions from my colleagues of staff? Okay.
I just wanted to comment first that I know what a process it was to overhaul the permits for all of this to begin with, and now to see the checklist, and hopefully that streamlined it. I just wanted to comment on some of the materials that are provided and the quote that's here that says for Palm Desert, we're in the midst of constructing the first 5 of 50 sun lodgers at Palm Desert. During our stay here, we've had ample opportunity to observe the community, the great things that have been accomplished, and even greater possibilities. Our faith in the soundness of Palm Desert as a place for comfortable, happy living is such that we are shaping our affairs at the end that we'll soon engage in the most actively in the erection of homes to fill the needs of all, from the very moderately priced to the most sumptuous homes. And it's nice to see how far we are into the future and how we are still delivering that Palm Desert, that vision. And this looks good to me. So if I can move approval if there aren't any other questions or comments.
I will second that as long as there's no more comments or questions. All good? Very good.
Councilmember Harnick.
Yes?
Councilmember Moreno.
Aye.
Councilmember Niscandy.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Perdetto.
Yes.
Mayor Truby.
Yeah. Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Very good. Well, that is the end of the business at hand, and I will now call for adjournment, and thank you all for coming today. See you in September.